بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على عبده ورسوله نبينا وإمامنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. The author says, chapter 17, باب نهي من أكل ثوما أو بصلا أو كراثا أو نحوها. Says it is forbidden to eat uncooked garlic or onion or leek or anything similar of offensive smell. Or anything similar of an offensive smell. Obviously, we're in Kitab as-sahw, the book of salah, of prayer. And we're in the chapter of al-masjid as-sahw, the chapter of masjids, mosques, and the places of prayer. So obviously, the prohibition of eating garlic, onions, or leek, the leek tree, is going to be pertaining to the prayer. However, the chapter is very vague. The chapter says it is prohibited, it is forbidden to eat these things in the salah, in the masjid, if you're praying, if you aren't praying, etc., it doesn't specify it in the chapter heading. It says that it is a nahi, a prohibition. Is it makruh or is it haram? In English, he chose to say forbidden, haram, to eat, and it has parentheses uncooked. So if I eat cooked onions or cooked garlic or cooked leek or leek tree or leek leaves or whatever, then it's fine. And it doesn't state that it's forbidden to eat these things and then come and pray in the masjid with the Muslims and be around the Muslims in the masjid. Anything that has an offensive smell. That has a what? An offensive smell. Everybody clear on this? So obviously it's in the chapter of salah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that. So that's vague in English. Even in Arabic, it says nahi man akala thuman aw baslan aw kurathan aw nahwaha. In the original version of Sahih Muslim, it states the same as well. And it doesn't specifically mention anything pertaining to a masjid. So therefore, the chapter heading is trying to teach us is that there is an etiquette of coming to the masjid. There's an etiquette of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And from that etiquette is to make sure that you don't smell bad. That nothing that you have on you or with you, on your breath, your shoes, your feet, your underarms, your armpits, is offensive. Is what? Offensive to the Muslims. Right on this? Obviously, contrast to this incense. But the smell that is considered to be what? Offensive. Khayran inshallah. Offensive to who? How do I know it's offensive? One person says that smells good, and another says it smells bad. And there are certain things which are generally, universally accepted as being offensive. And there are certain things which are subjective from culture to culture. There are certain cultures, certain places you go, in which people don't necessarily wear deodorant. It's well known. Whether it's France, or whether it's West Africa, or other places, in which people consider it to be a bad thing to wear deodorant. Everybody understand this? Obviously, in that culture or that society, a person not wearing deodorant is normal. Some people in our society, not everybody, but it is well known. Everybody clear on this? And they have different philosophy, especially in France, with regards to not wearing deodorant. What they consider to be a good thing. But in America, it may be a bit different. For a person to go to sleep at night, wake up, come to the masjid and not put it on deodorant, take a shower or bath, whatever, but no deodorant whatsoever. Regardless whether your deodorant is antiperspirant or not, whatever. Nothing under your arms. And a smell came from your armpits. That will be very, what? Offensive in our culture. And what? In our culture. We would consider that to be very offensive. Nah? But there, it may not be what? May not be offensive at all. They may look at it something as appealing and attractive. It's reality. Everybody clear this or not? Or, not even that deep, just something that's just normal and natural. It's how humans smell. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to hide. Wearing deodorant, they say, is unnatural. causes cancer. Anything that stops your body from sweating. Anything that stops your body from smelling in its natural way that Allah created it. Everybody understand this? So obviously these things are subjective. Even onions and garlic as well. Even though it's generally around the board that someone who has the breath of onion or garlic or leek is going to be generally what? Offensive. Everybody clear this or not? Tell you. So therefore it doesn't say anything about the masjid. Nor does it say anything about prayer. So this will be insufficient to the English reader. As far as the hadith, then it becomes clearer. It becomes clearer. And also says, oh nahwaha, or anything like this. Anything that is offensive to someone. Brothers come to the masjid and their feet smell. Sisters may come in the masjid, their feet may smell. This is a reality in certain countries. Not the brothers, but the what? Sisters. No hygiene. Or they don't consider it to be bad. But in a culture in which it is looked down upon and is totally unacceptable, the rule is general. From the modern day issues that apply to this is the smoking of cigarettes. The smoking of cigarettes. From the things which prove that smoking cigarettes are bad, regardless whether smoking a cigarette is haram or whether smoking a cigarette is makruh, it's definitely not good. We can agree on that. Is that it has a bad smell. It doesn't smell good. Everybody understands it doesn't what? Doesn't smell good. Smoking of cigars, maybe a bit different. Maybe what? It's a reality. Abu Black him out, huh? Allah Mustaan. What's important is, or even a cigar that's even finer quality than that, high quality. And even, Cuban cigars, the Phillies, famous for cigars. What's important is the concept of cigarettes versus cigars. Some things are similar, and some things are very different. The nature of the tobacco, the quality, the poison, the thing that's put inside of a cigarette is not necessarily inside of the cigar. Smoking it, the smoke being in your lungs is not necessarily the what? The same. What's important is smoke, anything that you have on your body that's what? Offensive. Everybody clear on this? Is from the etiquette of the masjid. Not to come to the masjid and you smell bad. Period. Moving forward. Hadith 331 says, Hadith ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, and the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال في غزوة خيبر من أكل من هذه الشجرة يعني الثوم فلا يقربن مسجدنا. Narrated Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, during Ghazwa, holy battle of Khaybar, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever ate from this plant, i.e. garlic, should not enter our mosque. Should not enter our mosque. Hadith 332. Hadith Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, عن عبد العزيز قال سأل رجل أنسا ما سمعت نبي الله صلى الله عليه وسلم في الثوم فقال قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من أكل من هذه الشجرة فلا يقربنا أو لا يصلين معنا. Narrated Abdul Aziz radiallahu anhu. Once again, Abdul Aziz is this man a Sahabi? The translator, every sub-narrator, he puts radiallahu anhu, even if the person is a tabi'i. He says, narrated Abdul Aziz, a man asked Anas radiallahu anhu, what did you hear from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam about garlic? He said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever has eaten this plant should not come near us. Or he said, he should not offer salat with us. Hadith 333. Hadith Jabir ibn Abdullah radiyallahu anhuma. زعم أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من أكل ثوما أو بصلا فليعتزلنا أو قال فليعتزل مسجدنا وليقعد في بيته وأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أتي بقدر فيه خضرات من بقول فوجد لها ريحا فسأل فأخبر بها أو فأخبر بما فيها من البقول فقال قربوها إلى بعض أصحابه كان معه فلما رأه كذا خطأ مطبعي فلما رآه كره أكلها قال كل فإني أناجي من أو من لا تناجي. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Narrated Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhuma, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever eats garlic or onion should keep away from us. Or he said, keep away from our mosque, or should remain in his house. Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhu, another narration said, once a big pot containing cooked vegetables was brought. On finding an unpleasant smell coming from it, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, what is in it? He was told all of the names of the vegetables that were in it. The Prophet ﷺ ordered that it should be brought near to some of his companions who were with him. When the Prophet ﷺ saw it, he disliked it and he said, eat. I don't eat. Or I don't, he says, I don't eat, for I converse with those whom you do not converse. I converse with those whom you do not, or whom you don't converse with, i.e. the angels. Tayyib. Hadith 331, 332, 333 all prove one thing. Is that from the etiquettes of coming to the masjid is to avoid eating garlic. Avoid eating onions or leek or anything that has an offensive, disturbing smell to it. And based off of that is anything that is offensive. One's underarms, armpits, one's cigarette, etc. Everybody clear on this? Having a bad or offensive smell. Coming to the masjid drunk with alcohol in your breath. Coming to the masjid, a person, this is reality, a person has a cat, a male cat. And the cat is in heat. The cat sprays. It's a reality. It's very common. Brother, he comes to the masjid and his coat smells like what? A cat. Everybody understand this? Why I have the fuck is whatever it is. Whatever is what? Offensive. Everybody clear on this? Fadal.
Are we saying that garlic and the whole should be avoided, or only when it comes to the mosque?
What's clear?
Because doctors are now coming
Clear.
out with scientific facts.
Clear. Garlic is not haram in Islam. It's not haram. You can eat garlic. What's important is whether you have raw garlic, whether it's cooked garlic, make sure that you do something about it. If you eat it while it's cooked, it's not as bad as it being fresh or raw. Or even if a person ate raw garlic, and let's say, for example, after the meal, he brushed his teeth, or he used some type of wash or something that take away that strong smell. There's nothing wrong with garlic in Islam. Anything, chicken, beef, fish, anything that you eat that gives that offensive smell, that's the point. Clear on that? That's the point, inshallah. Khairan, inshallah. So this being said, all three hadiths clearly prove the same thing. Now, everybody pay close attention. As if we have a problem in hadith 333. Look at hadith 333 and pay close attention to it. See who can figure out a potential problem with this hadith in the English translation in light of what we have studied before in the previous classes. Anyone online as well? Something else. In the translation. The benefits of garlic are ancient as well. Health benefits. Let alone in the popular culture regarding vampires. All types of benefits for the body, all types of stuff, no doubt. Let alone its power as a seasoning. Super season, huh? Know what I'm saying? Super seasoning, Play. Anybody find anything problematic with this translation? 333. It says, "For I converse with those whom you don't converse," i.e. the angels. Anything? Khair, inshallah. Let's move forward. So that's the main fiqh lesson of the chapter. And we've explained the modern day issues as well. These are the words of the Prophet ﷺ over 1,000 years ago. And they still have the same value and meaning today with any other modern thing that man has come up with. Or any other thing that can possibly take place. One's armpits, one's feet, etc. Khairan inshallah, halitosis, bad breath, anything. Khairan? Okay, so that's the main fiqh lesson. An-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he says regarding these hadith. Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah. An-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala, he says regarding these hadith. هذا تصريح بنهي من أكل الثوم ونحوه عن دخول كل مسجد وهذا مذهب العلماء كافة إلا ما حكاه القاضي عياض عن بعض العلماء أن النهي خاص في مسجد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لقوله في بعض رواية مسلم فلا يقربن مسجدنا وحجة الجمهور فلا يقربن المساجد ثم إن هذا النهي إنما هو عن حضور المسجد لا عن أكل الثوم والبصل ونحوهما فهذه البقول حلال بإجماع من يعتد به وحكى القاضي عياض عن أهل الظاهر تحريمها لأنها تمنع عن حضور الجماعة وهي عندهم فرض عين وحجة الجمهور قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم في أحاديث الباب كل فإني أناجي من لا تناجي وقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا أيها الناس إنه ليس لي تحريم ما أحل الله لي قال العلماء ويلحق بالثوم والبصل والكراث كل ما له رائحة كريهة من المأكولات وغيرها قال القاضي ويلحق به من أكل فجلا وكان يتجشى وقال ابن المرابط ويلحق به من به بخر في فيه أو به جرح له رائحة قال القاضي وقاس العلماء على هذا مجامع الصلاة غير المسجد كمصلى العيد والجنائز ونحوها من مجامع العبادات وكذا مجامع العلم والذكر والولائم ونحوها ولا يلتحق بها الأسواق ونحوها. I know what he says. When the Prophet ﷺ says, anyone who eats from this tree, the literal translation, and the interpretation meaning plant, is onion necessarily a tree? Is garlic necessarily a tree? Everybody understand this? Anyone who eats from this plant, he should not come near the masjids. He says this means that the Prophet ﷺ is clearly prohibiting anyone who eats these types of things from going to the masjid, each and every masjid, entering the masjid. And this is the understanding of most of the ulama. The overwhelming majority is that it's applicable to each and every single what? Masjid. He says that some of the scholars of Islam said it was specific to the Prophet's masjid. The Prophet's masjid having a special virtue. As far as the other masjids besides the Prophet's masjid, then they would say then it doesn't apply and a person can eat those things and still go to the masjid. He says, however, most of the ulama, the overwhelming majority, they held the view that it's applicable to any masjid. Any masjid. He then says, this prohibition doesn't mean that garlic and onions, these things are haram. As we just explained. It doesn't what? It does not mean that. It doesn't mean that under any circumstance. But anyone who wishes to come to the masjid, he has to pick one of the two. Don't go to the masjid and eat onions and garlic, or come to the masjid without those things being upon your what? Your breath. He then says, he says in this halal, he says, but some of the ulama, they say that it's haram to eat these things. It's haram to eat garlic and onion. Some of them, and they say that because going to the masjid is what, according to them? Fard ayn. Fard what? Ayn. Is Salatul Jama'ah Fard Kifaya? Is it Fard Ayn? Or is it just a Sunnah? Those who say that going to the masjid to pray the 5 daily prayers is just a Sunnah. You can eat whatever you want. You don't have to go. It's not what? Mandatory. Those ulama who say that the Salatul Jama'ah is Fard Kifaya, meaning that it has to be what? Has to be what? Upon who? What does Fard Kifaya mean? Some of the people. Some of the people. Somebody has to be in the masjid. The masjid can't be empty for each salah. And then those ulama who say that Salat al-Jama'ah is what? Fard Ayn, meaning every single male who's capable, who isn't a resident, who isn't sick, so on and so forth, has to what? Go to the masjid for the daily prayers, as long as the masjid is in a reasonable vicinity of him. Unless he has an excuse, being sick, being ill, etc. As well known, those rulings. We're not talking about that specifically. What's important is right here, it just goes to show you how the fiqh rulings what? Always what? Attached. From one thing, you know what? 10,000 things. Salat al-Jama'ah, what is the proof that it's fard ayn? What's the proof of those say that it's just a sunnah? That's a whole different issue in a different chapter. And then we're talking about what? The etiquette of the masjid. Right, clear on this? And that's how you systematically study and learn as a student of knowledge, of hadith. When you have hadith, and you have fiqh, and you compare, and you combine, and you cluster. You what? Cluster your fiqh. Everybody get this? From one issue, you go to another issue, which leads you to a what? A third issue. Everybody understand this? Moving forward. He says that they hold the view that Salat al-Jama'ah is fard ayn. Qadi Iyad says that. As if Qadi Iyad says that it's not fard ayn. Khair, we're not here to discuss this issue with regards to Salat al-Jama'ah, is it mandatory or not. Tayyib. It states in another hadith, or another version, he says, Kul, he told him to eat. Eat the vegetables, eat the onions, because I unaji man la tunaji. He says, I have an intimate conversation with the one whom you don't necessarily have an intimate conversation. Or with those. What's the proper translation of that? And what's the aqeedah issue that pertains to what? To that. Moving forward. No one picked up on the clue. It states in another version, he says, Ya ayyuhan nas. He says, O mankind, innahu laysa li tahrimu ma ahallallah. Or innahu laysa li tahrimu ma ahallallahu li. He says, I can't make unlawful what Allah has made what? Lawful. And this is the Prophet saying this, let alone what? Someone else, a scholar, or a student of knowledge, or a person, a leader. The Prophet is the one who is the legislator. He's saying, I don't make unlawful with what? Allah has made lawful. Moving forward, from the side benefits of these hadiths, he says, the ulama, they say, anything, just like we just explained, we make an analogy. We base anything else upon these three things. Garlic, onion, and leek. Anything that has a displeasing smell and odor. Whether it's ma'kul, something that you eat, he says, وَغَيْرِهَا, or what? Anything else. Like we said, cigarettes, feet, armpits. They say a wound, if a person was injured. He has a wound. Anything that has a bad, displeasing smell. Everybody clear on this? Moving forward. Others, they say that any place of congregation, major congregation of the Muslims, takes the same ruling as well. It doesn't just have to be the masjid. Any place in which the Muslims come together, such as the musalla for the Eid prayer, or for the funeral prayer, such as the different, let's say, he says, Majami al-Ilm, a university or an institute. Don't go to the Quran school and your breath smells. Everybody understand this? Because they're Muslims that are together, congregating, wala'im, feasts, wedding feasts, whatever the case may be. He says, but not the marketplace. That's different. That's different. Khairan, inshallah. Moving forward. Qawluhu sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now let's ask ourselves a question. What is the ruling on eating these things if they're cooked? Is it permissible to eat them if they're cooked and then go to the jama'ah? Or you have to totally avoid them and stay away from them? And why? Permissible to eat them if they're cooked. Why?
If you cook them, I don't think the smell necessarily stays.
The smell isn't...
Yeah.
Okay.
And I believe there's another hadith where the Prophet said you can eat it if it's cooked to death or something like that.
طيب. Anybody else? Fadl.
It's permissible.
Permissible to cook them. Okay.
Eat them when they're cooked. And the reason for that is because the hadith of Prophet was offered a pot of cooked vegetables. And in it, it was the prohibited item. If eaten raw, you're not allowed to go to the masjid. And he offered it to the his companions.
Type. Next question. Is it permissible to eat raw onions, raw garlic, or onion powder, garlic powder, even if it's raw, but you take care of it?
Before you go to the
Brushing your teeth, flossing, gum, mints, what do you call it? Tic Tacs. Although, dude, what do you think about that?
before going to the masjid?
Yeah, raw, straight raw onions. I saw people in Medina just take an onion and literally eat it like an apple. Wallah al-azim. Take onions, bismillah, just like that, and eat the whole thing. Am I making this up again?
I don't know.
We have any cultural references? Anybody seen this? They take an onion literally
Yeah,
and eat it like an apple.
yeah.
Tufah.
I say so. I say it's
Tayyib. A whole onion? Or just a couple slices on your sandwich or your dibby lamb, huh? But a whole onion, that's a bit much. Can you brush your teeth and get rid of a whole entire onion? The smell might be in your throat, you're
if it's mixed
exuding from your pores, your skin.
together,
That-
mixed together with different.
listen, guys. Everybody listen up. Forget your breath or your mouth. What happens to people who eat raw onions? Where does the smell come from as well? Your pores. Huh? Be mindful of that. Wudu on your yeah. So if you get all right, why does your skin smell? Because something on the surface or something beneath the surface? So the ghusl is what? Useless. The ghusl is what? Useless. Let alone something that enters inside of your pores, something outside. Al-Muhim. What's important is we have two issues now. Two issues. Issue number one. Or the issue now is taking something that's raw now. Raw onions, raw garlic, or leek. Or smoking a cigarette. As we saw last night. The brother was outside of the masjid smoking a cigarette. We walked into the masjid, the brother, they walked right by us, didn't give us salams or anything. In the masjid, they were in the talk. Nah, I'm sheikh. He said, a bogey. You smoking a what? Smoking a bogey. A bone. Tayyib. Outside of the masjid. Am I making this up, Abdul Qawi? Tayyib. So, brother says, want to smoke a cigarette. It's only makruh. Tayyib. Okay, whatever you say. Is it permissible for a person to say, smoking is makruh, or smoking a cigarette is haram? Either or. But I have basic fiqh. I study wal-Marjan. I listen to the class, the live stream. And before I go in the masjid, I'm going to do what? Brush my teeth. And put on some cologne, some Febreze, and I have no smell. Or the onions. I have a dish in which there's raw onion on the side, or in a salad. Is it permissible for me to go to the masjid, but to brush my teeth first, take a Tic Tac, some mouthwash, etc.? Or is it totally prohibited?
I think it is permissible because the whole point of you having those onions, those things that bad smells, that will distract the people in the congregation and disrupt the kosher and prayer and things of that nature. So if you take care of those things and it's not distracting, then it should be okay.
So you're going with the hikmah, the illah, the wisdom and the reasoning behind the legislation, which is the offensive smell. And someone who says it's haram absolutely is going to go with the what? Ahsant. The zahir al-lafz. And say, I'm going to stop there. And this is an issue over many times with the ulama. They what? They differ over. Just like about the food. Do I have to eat first and then pray? Or only eat first and delay the salat because of hunger? Obviously, the best path and the best method of studying fiqh, the fiqh of hadith, would be to do what? Nope. Disregard the wording? That's very dangerous. The best path, no, you're wrong. The beginning of your sentence proved the rest of what your sentence is going to be. Next. Ahsan, both. And make a mixture, a hybrid. In which you stick with the asl. The asl, the default is the what? The literal text. Unless there's another hadith, another Quranic ayah, something that clearly proves that this is the what? The wisdom. And there's a mixture. Sometimes, some issues, we stick with the literal text. La. The Prophet never said that, akhi. Jazakallah khairan. Go with your fiqh and your madhab and your culture. I don't know. La. And other times you say what? Clearly based off of the wisdom. And it's not just dogmatic. But there's a wisdom behind it. Everybody clear on this? Everybody understand this? It's a mixture. 70-30, 50-50. However, formless. Tayyib. Moving forward. Any other modern day issues that we can base off of this or these hadiths, these three narrations? Of a mas'ala of usul al-fiqh, it shows us that when the Prophet ﷺ doesn't take something or doesn't do something, that doesn't necessarily mean that that thing is disliked. Just because the Prophet didn't do it doesn't mean that it's disliked. Let alone it being what? Haram. Let alone it being what? Haram. And the same applies when the Prophet ﷺ did something. It does not prove that that thing is what? Mandatory. It may not even be recommended. It may be something that the Prophet ﷺ did that was from his cultural norm. That was from his what? Cultural norm. Had nothing to do with religious devotion. Period. It's something that was a custom of the Arabs. He did it. And then the time the Prophet ﷺ addresses the companions about it, or mentions the barakah of it, or the reward of it, or Allah loves it, then that's a different what? A different story. Everybody clear on this? And everything is not just take it and this is what it means. Khair on it, inshallah. Any other issues? It shows us how the Prophet ﷺ in certain issues was different from the Sahaba. How he was different from the what? From the Sahaba in certain issues. Also, we benefit is that what? Disliking some food or mentioning or noticing something about the food doesn't necessarily mean that it's aib al-ta'am. The hadith says, مَا عَابَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهِ وسلم طَعَامًا قَطْ إِنْ اشْتَهَاهُ أَكَلَهُ وَإِنْ كَرِهَهُ تَرَكَ أَوْ كَمَا قَالَ. It says that the Prophet never looked down upon any food. مَا عَابَ طَعَامًا قَطْ. He never made aib of any food. If he liked it, he would eat it, and if he didn't like it, he would what? Leave it alone. So what is meant by looking down on food or making aib, finding fault in food? Is it the food itself or the way that the food was prepared and cooked? Say this turkey is a bit dry. This chicken is dry. The person cooked it what? Too much. Or cooked it on too high of a fire. Is that my mind looking down on the food or the one who what? I hate chicken. Chicken is disgusting. We have chicken every day. So on and so forth. That's one thing. Instead of someone just talking about the actual, the hand, the seasoning, the way it was prepared. Everybody understand this? Some brothers, they say this. If you say the food is too salty, they say, the Prophet never what? Does that necessarily mean that? Or mean somebody was lead foot with the salt, huh? Too much spice. My stomach, what heck is that? Tayyib? Khair, inshallah. Moving forward. Chapter 19 says, Bab as-sahw fi as-salat was-sujood lahu. It says, chapter 19 is sahw, forgetfulness in prayer, and to perform two prostration for it. A whole new chapter, and a whole new concept, and a whole new field or chamber of fiqh. And that is what is known as sujood or sujood as-sahw, the prostration that you make because of the forgetfulness that you had. Because of the forgetfulness that you what? That you had. Prostration of forgetfulness is a literal translation and is oftentimes misleading in English. That would mean in English that you made prostration because of what? You forgot and made the prostration of forgetfulness. The actual wording would be the prostration for forgetfulness. Everybody clear on this or not? Everybody understand this? You understand or not, Akhi? You got it? Tayyib. Listen carefully. The prostration of forgetfulness. In English, that means that your prostration is based off of what? La. You have a non-English mind. It's been tainted by other languages and cultures. Seriously. What does that mean? The raw meaning of that. Prostration of forgetfulness.
It's a prostration you made.
Forgetfully.
Yeah, forgetfully.
This is a prostration of forgetfulness. With the movement, right? Everybody understand this? And even in Arabic, the ulama, they speak about this. Idafat al-shay ila sababihi muda', etc. As-sujud min ajl as-sahw. Even in Arabic they talk about this. The prostration that is made because of forgiveness, and not the prostration of forgiveness. To fix your forgetfulness, etc. And it's not just specific to forgetfulness. One may become sure in a prayer, but he was forgetful at a point, or at least he was what? Doubtful. Moving forward. So as we spoke on this topic in Masjid Taqwa, I don't think we finished that book. However, this is a very important topic. Please, if you get a chance, go back to the first class of Dr. Tayyar, his book that we were explaining. I think it was last summer, we were explaining his book. We did maybe 4 or 5 classes on sujood as-sahw. And he was talking about the tremendous wisdom of sujood as-sahw and the benefit of it, and how it's a manifestation of Allah's mercy upon us to have this in our deen. Everybody clear on this? So please go back to that lecture in which we mentioned many benefits of the whole entire concept. And we also mentioned how to make sujood as-sahw. We're in the beginning, we didn't finish the book, how to make it from the beginning. Please go back to that playlist. It's very, very important benefits there. So we're not going to mention them again here. What's important is that if you make the salah, you are either going to do something extra, you're going to do something less, or you're going to be, that face you just made, you're going to be unsure about one of the 2 things. Pay close attention. Everybody understand this? Number 1 is that you did something what? Extra. I made an extra rak'ah. I know. Instead of 4 rak'ahs for dhuhr, I made what? I know. For sure. I know this. But I only made the 5th rak'ah because of forgetfulness, not intentionally. Or instead of 4 rak'ah for dhuhr, I made what? 3. Not intentionally, but what? Forgetfully. Or you're in the tashahhud, or you're in the sujood before you go. Is this the 3rd rak'ah or the 4th? Is this the 5th rak'ah or the 4th? وهكذا. Did I say Sami Allahu liman hamida, Subhana Rabbil A'la, so on and so forth? Did I say this or not? Everyone saying this? So that what you do more, that what you do less, or that which is what? So we have a ziyada, and then we have a naqs, and then we have a shak. Ziyada meaning more, naqs meaning less, and shak meaning doubt. Everybody clear on this? So these are the 3 reasons behind what? Sujood as-sahw. And there are many, many different issues that pertain to this. What is the ruling of sujood as-sahw? We're going to get into that in these hadiths bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. Please go back to the playlist, I think we did maybe 5 or 6 classes and we discussed a lot there. That's right. طيب. Moving forward. He says, Hadith Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. And bi-idhnillah, I think it's best for us to start on this tomorrow. Inshallah, start the chapter on the sujood as-sahw and try to finish all of them or most of them tomorrow night. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Jazakumullahu khairan. ووفقنا ووفقكم لكل خير.